Yesterday, Suite Melissa Kargianakis, founder and CEO of ScriptSwap, joined MP Terry Sheehan to receive 2 investments totaling $900,000 for her company. This funding will enable ScriptSwap, a growing information technology company, to make information more accessible by changing the reading level. Information at lower reading levels removes barriers for about 47% of Canadian adults who experience low literacy. First, an interest-free loan of $800,000 will help ScriptSwap to build, test, and commercialize an artificial language platform to convert complex language found in technical documents like employment contracts, wills, or medical instructions into plain, everyday language. An additional grant of $100,000 through the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy will pave the way for a new patent and support the company's growth into the United States. Chief Commissioner of the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, Marion Buller, says the genocide against them is pretty obvious to her. She made the remarks in a speech at a conference on the topic at the University of British Columbia.
I think it's unfortunate when a leader rejects a finding of a 30-month-long national inquiry. What the danger is, of course, he's saying, I don't believe the truths that the families told. And I think it's a real affront to the families and survivors who did come forward.
Democratic Institutions Minister Karina Gould and Conservative critic Peter Kent got into a heated exchange in question period over elections and social media during campaigns.
Mr. Speaker, we know the Liberal leader admires China's basic dictatorship. We know the Liberals are forcing Elections Canada to hire social media influencers to influence the election. We know the Liberals chose a partisan union to decide which newspapers will receive election year subsidies and which won't. And we know these Liberals threaten to shut down Twitter if it doesn't promise to remove what Liberals consider to be inauthentic content. Mr. Speaker, do these Liberals really want to follow China, Iran, and North Korea on Twitter?
That is a wild extrapolation that the Conservatives are making and misleading Canadians. There was a witness at the Grand Committee that talked about suggesting that, and I was talking about Twitter being a better actor when it comes to the declaration of electoral integrity. Mr. Speaker, Conservatives owe it to Canadians to tell the truth and to not mislead them.
Health authorities have confirmed a case of measles in a hospital in the Quebec City region. They say an adult person contracted the virus during a trip to Asia and then visited the Hôtel Dieu Hospital's emergency room on May 30th and 31st while contagious. Health officials say they're trying to reach everyone who came into contact with the infected person between May 24th and June 1st. They say there's no indication the measles has spread and the risk of transmission is low since 95% of the population in that area is vaccinated. The last case of measles in the Quebec City region was detected in 2015. The Public Health Agency of Canada says 61 measles cases were reported across the country between January 1st and May 25th, with reports coming from Quebec, British Columbia, the Northwest Territories, Ontario, Alberta, and New Brunswick. NYPD said the helicopter that struck a New York City skyscraper took off from a Manhattan helipad and was in the air for about 11 minutes before it crashed. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said there was no indication it was an act of terror.
Fire department, police department, and buildings department, there is no danger of any kind to New Yorkers at this point. And what I'm going to tell you and what my colleagues are going to tell you is all preliminary information. I'm going to emphasize to everyone a full investigation is going on, but we have only preliminary information at this point in time. But what we do know is that one person died in this helicopter crash. That person is presumed to be the pilot, but we are still waiting for absolute confirmation of that fact. There does not appear to have been any passenger in the helicopter, but again, we're waiting for absolute confirmation of that fact.